This voice you hear, it's me. My name is Frano. I'm the host of the summit. And now
Hi, Frano.
Hi, nice to meet you. Slava Ukraini. Now we're going to do a podcast
Hello,
with
Slava.
you. Now we're going to do a podcast with you, which starts in a few seconds after the official logo. Now it's, ladies and gentlemen, live from Ukraine, our dear friend Aleksandr will be answering some naughty questions in front of you all. They won't be so naughty, but I hope that you can answer it shortly. As you may know, when you're 21, usually in this part of the Balkans, you just party, you find your love, but you started your first company at 21 by selling online equipment in your online store, a security store, Secure. Why did you choose that? Why not alcohol or something else?
I'm a bad drinker. I know that Ukrainian people have some reputation, like Kalashnikov, drinking vodka, etc. But in maybe it was a past generation. Now everything has changed. So I was very interested in engineering. I was very interested in business, and I feel myself much more happy to do the business than to drink the alcohol. And it was accidental. It was an accidental situation. We were selling some things online, and my friend was looking for alarm system for his house. And he could not find the proper one in Ukraine, so the proper one was in Russia. And he ordered the system from Russia. Russians told it was a Russian system. However, when we unpacked it and saw the Chinese characters, we understood that it is the origin of the system much more Eastern than Russian. So it was the beginning. We installed the first Chinese alarm in his house, and after this, we started to distribute alarm. We started from Chinese alarms. For 3 months, we were quite happy. Or good margin. After 3 months or 6 months, batteries started to explode, a lot of technical issues. So we started to look for a normal brand. But for the small distributor who are just starting to found a good brand in Europe, it was impossible because nobody wanted to give the distribution to a newcomer in a distribution business. And as I had an engineering background, I collected a couple of my friends from the university, Kyiv Polytechnic University, and we started to develop the alarms. So this was the beginning. This was the beginning of Ajax.
It's always hard to begin, but then everything changed when you went to China. What did you find in China?
It was the first time I came in China. I collected $600. That time it was quite a big capital for myself to allocate it for the trip in China. And I went to visit our suppliers, at the time CCTV suppliers, alarm suppliers, etc. And what I found in China, the huge scale. And I don't want to offend someone, but I was not impressed with the technological level. For example, like factory of 600 people may have 30 engineers that time. So I was expecting something like a Tesla factory. And I found out a lot of people who are assembling by hand cameras, who are adopting hardware platforms, almost zero software, very basic software. So even for me, the time for the just graduated from Polytechnic University, it was quite low level. But the scale of sales was huge. And how hardworking Chinese are, I was very impressed. And I was motivated. I did not understand why we cannot create something like this by ourselves, because even that time, we had 2010, we already started to have our first technology, detection technology, radio technology. We were thinking about Internet of Things, and we just did not see the reasons why we could not reach that level. So let's say I found out the huge ambition in China. And it was a quite interesting situation. I was staying in the factory of the CCTV supplier. I went to the toilet, and I was staying. I was pissing, and then another guy, the white man, came to the toilet. I say hello to him. I'm Alex from Ukraine. He told me like, hi, I'm Nilton from Brazil, and what are you doing here? I'm buying the goods. I'm also buying the goods, and I'm staying and thinking, wow, I want Nilton come to Kiev to piss in Ukrainian toilet. So this is a huge opportunity. And now, Nilton, by the way, did not come to Kiev yet because we didn't start with our business in Brazil. But as we are selling to 130 countries plus, a lot of our international friends, partners, including our respected partner Alarm Automatica, visit Kiev. I visited Zakarpattia factory. So let's say our ambition that I took in China already came to life.
So, man's got to do what a man's got to do, even if pissing is allowed. So it's okay, no problem. But they told me that you even learned Chinese while doing business in China. Is it right?
Yeah, I was studying Chinese for 1 year and a half. Right now, I can say ni hao or zhao le shanda. I don't remember anything else. I'm quite weak in languages. So the time I was deep in it, I could understand the Chinese language, but it took a lot of my brain. It took a lot of my memory inside. So I dropped it. And also when we moved to the manufacturing business, the role of China decreased a lot. The role of China decreased a lot because like we don't have anything where we need Chinese language specific knowledge or deep dive in cooperation with our Chinese partners. So yeah, it was a period of my life, but this is not the skill I brought with myself. So now I can say only ni hao.
你好吗，朋友？谢谢，再见。We're going to carry on with speaking on because Boris mentioned Ajax or Ajax. I'm talking to you because not only I work on radio and TV, but actually I own one Ajax and it works. I'm quite satisfied with it. But was it the first milestone after Straja did not work that well, right?
Yeah, we developed our first generation of alarm system. And we used our panel and we used the Chinese components. We found out that it just doesn't work. So we started to develop our own detectors. It was one-way radio technology. We got some market inside the Ukraine, but the product was not good enough to be international. So we started to redevelop the radio detection technology design, so everything from scratch. And for 3 years, we were developing the jeweler. We were developing what we call smart detects, and we were developing the product design, the concept itself. We put the basic of Internet of Things. So it took for us 3 years, and all 3 years we were doing the business just inside of Ukraine. So from 2012 to 2015, and 2015 when the new products were ready. What you see now. It was born in 2015. We started from the local market, and in 2016 we started to push it already on the global market. So it was very interesting period in our company. Like you are coming to a work, and you don't know when you will finish because technology is not something what is predicted. Technology sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't happen. When you push to the engineers to achieve something which nobody achieved before, you have zero guarantee that they can achieve it. Why? Because it is invention. Yeah, because it is innovation, and invention or innovations they cannot be planned. So sometimes we are successful, we are inventor successful, some not, we are not successful. And in 2015, finally, now we understand it. We delivered a good product which was based on our previous mistakes.
Well, it's always nice to hear that when you learn from your mistakes, you expand your work. So it was Straja, then Jury, then of course Ajax. Now you have Fibra in Croatia. When you have Fibra, that means that you have high temperature because you're ill or sick. But what does Fibra do for people who want to know more?
Got it. Fibra is a wire technology of Ajax. So we have reinvented how people use wireless alarms, and we got a massive amount of feature requests that guys you need to deliver something with wires. Why? Because system integrators in some cases they prefer wires, in some cases it is reasonable, in some cases it's not reasonable, just the habit, but still the market is there. And we started to think how should look like the wired alarm system in 21st century. So what we had on the market is actually not the good example of how technology should look like in 21st century, because the analog wired alarm systems is actually the relay which are controlled by a current loop, and we just measure the relay and the voltage on the line. We don't know anything about the detector. We can't speak to this detector. We can't check the health monitor. We can't detect sabotage quite fast in cases. Detector can be totally ruined, but if the relay is working, the system will show you that it is working. And we were looking at all this sheet and thinking, like, can we deliver this to customers? And the answer for us is no, because for Ajax is not only important to make the money. For Ajax it is important to change the landscape, to have the impact. So while we were brainstorming, we decided that people love Ajax because of user experience. Because you open your application, you can touch everything in your application, you control the physical reality through the software, and the similar user experience we need to give to the people with wires. And the Fibra is a similar user experience that you have with wireless Ajax, but through the wires. And this is the basic concept. And who already installed the Fibra? See that there is no difference. There is no difference with user experience. However, if you want to have the wires in some cases, definitely you can use it. Technically, the wires considered to be grade 3 products. However, from the supervision, timing, signaling, etc., Ajax Wireless is a grade 3 product. So if you will check the grade 3 requirement, you will find out that Ajax Wireless is almost grade 3. Just add anti-masking to the detectors and it will be grade 3 system, even the wireless system. So I cannot say that this wired for grade 3, wireless for grade 2. I think that in case of Ajax, it all is coming together. And like grade 3, in case of supervision, in case of anti-sabotage, it is a basic, it is like the nature of Ajax. So let's say Fibra, Ajax user experience through the wires. This is what we try to achieve, and now our beloved customers, you will tell us, are we successful or this idea was stupid?
Congratulations for that. They say the future is hybrid. No more wires, a little bit more of radio. That's the reason why I like radio, and that combination obviously works, because Amazon gives you 99.99% of everything good, especially in reliability at the cloud. But you always emphasize that this is the result of the teamwork. We all know that in Croatia 30 years ago, it was very hard to do any production because of the war and the invasion. How are you doing, Aleksandr? How is your company doing now? I know you increased everything in production, but did you have to evacuate? Were your plants endangered by the invasion?
Yeah, the year started for us quite bad. So 24th of February, Russia invaded Ukraine. So we needed to evacuate. We had 2 factories in Kiev. So we evacuated factories in the west of Ukraine because Kyiv was under heavy attack, heavy bombing several times per day, and we evacuated our factory to the west of Ukraine. It was quite interesting exercise. In February, we had like 1,800 people of our staff. Maximum in summer, we reached 2,500 people. Now I think we are around 2,300 people, 2,400 people. So from that time, we scaled our production like 50 to 70%. Let's say it was a tough exercise, but the result is quite positive. Now also we opened a factory in Turkey. It is already assembling the first devices to balance the country risk with the factory in Ukraine. However, I know, guys, you went through the war as well, and I can say that if the army do a good job, the business can do the job as well. So I can't mourn that we did not have possibility to do business, etc. We had a quite good business continuity plan. We had quite good infrastructure inside Ukraine, outside Ukraine, and for sure fast motivated team. So it was a hard exercise, but we did not lose anything. And we become bigger and we become stronger. So about annihilation of the business, about not possibility to continue the business, war is not excuse. And Ukrainian army forces, thanks to the help of our partners from the West, proceed doing a good job. And I'm now in Kyiv. And our core team keep staying in Ukraine, and we staying behind the Ukraine. And definitely, this is not an excuse for us not to deliver products, not to deliver innovations to our partners. And the 11th of October, we will have our special event. Yeah, we delayed it. We were going to have it earlier in beginning of the summer, so a couple of months we delayed, but still we are delivering this year. And the comfort zone special event, you can see the innovations which arrived despite the war. However, once more, war is a big word, but if army doing their job, we can proceed doing our business.
Dame i gospodo, ovo zaslužuje pljesak. This one is good for a round of applause. Aleksandr, during the war, many people flee. They forget about families, about jobs you need to offer, but this is like the best solutions I've heard in my career answering and asking a question. So thank you for being with us. You're such a nice gentleman. Because now, one more Croatian or Serbian or Bosnian or Macedonian or Romanian or Bulgarian guy or lady will be richer for Ajax system. I told you I'm very, very satisfied. It always helps me because I'm always walking around. And actually, that's something you always emphasize. Reliability for all of us, even for me who does not have no clue what you're doing, what cloud does, how it goes up or down, but it works on my cell phone and I'm very satisfied with it. Boris, I'm going to ask you to join us here. If it's okay with you, Aleksandr, you stay with us because we're now going to award Ajax system to a lucky winner, and then you're going to stay on our screen so we can do a family photo, okay? Remote but family photo.
May I join you?
Of course, Martina, join us here. Ladies and gentlemen, one more applause for Aleksandr for being with us. Thanks for joining us from Kyiv. Stay here.